We are almost at the start of the VCT Masters Bangkok tournament, the first international tournament of the VCT 2025 season. So it's time for me to pick my winner for the entire tournament. But we have to go through this in stages. First, I'm going to be picking my winners for the opening Swiss stage matches, and then choosing 4 teams that are going to make it out of the Swiss stage, and then telling you guys what my runner-up pick is and who my winner is. So this is the VLR page for the pick'ems. We're going to be starting down here with the Swiss stage matches, going from left to right. So we're starting with G2 versus Trace. These are 2 teams that ended up going through the upper bracket of their respective kickoffs. However, Trace did lose their grand final, but G2 did not. And G2 looked like a really good team. They were unstoppable in their own region, only dropping 2 maps, and that was in the grand final. Whereas Trace went on a strong run in their upper bracket as well. They only lost 1 map in the upper bracket before falling to Edward Gaming in a disappointing 3-1 loss. So Trace are definitely looking a lot better than the team that we saw in the international stage at the end of 2024, making their way to champions, upsetting some pretty good teams, but then flaming out at the playoff stage. So can they find some of that upset magic again versus a team that a lot of people are expecting to be very good? I'm going to say for now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think G2 are going to be able to win this one, but I'm going to say that it ends up being a 3-map game. Moving on, we have Edward Gaming versus Team Liquid. Edward Gaming being the top seed out of China once again. They have never lost in their own region when it comes to those grand finals. And Team Liquid, surprise, surprise, we're here again. Definitely a team that not a lot of people expected to make this international tournament, me included, but a team that definitely should be given their flowers with how well they've been playing. Having some massive performances from players like Kiko, who statistically was the best player in the EMEA kickoff, but going up against the reigning champ winners, that is definitely a tall task. And while Edward Gaming haven't looked as dominant as they have in the past, this is still a team that won champs. They still have some incredible players on that roster, and I don't really see them losing to Team Liquid. I think Team Liquid has some upset potential here, but so does every match, really. I don't think it's impossible for Team Liquid to win, but I definitely think it's not the most likely outcome. Moving on, we have Team Vitality versus T1, a matchup that on paper has a ton of talent to go around on both teams. Team Vitality with star players such as Durka, Les, Safe, even Trex and Kix are playing like star players right now. And then T1, a team with Buzz, Meteor, Stacks, players that have had some very decorated pasts in Valorant. However, the beginning of the year, definitely struggling with a bit of chemistry and team cohesion. So if they can figure those things out in terms of talent level, I don't think they're as far off from Team Vitality as some may think. But Team Vitality not only have the talent, but they also clearly have the team cohesion that T1 hasn't shown up until this point. They have looked incredible in the EMEA region, going undefeated in their kickoff bracket, having some really good stats for all their players. Safe as an IGL seems to be working out. While I don't always like choosing what I feel like is the obvious pick, I just don't really see T1 winning this matchup. I'm definitely going to be wrong about at least one of these matches. I highly doubt I go 4 for 4. I never really do. But I don't think that Team Vitality is going to start their tournament off weak. I think they're going to come in guns a-blazing. These 2 teams last faced each other at Champions 2024. Sentinels did end up winning that one, but both rosters have changed quite a bit since then. Sentinels losing Tenz and Saucy to retirement and then bringing in Narrate and Bang. DRX getting rid of Buzz and Foxy9, bringing in Freen and Hyman, 2 players that have looked incredible so far. This team is definitely set up for success. However, going up against Sentinels is a tall task. While Sentinels are the 2nd seed of their region, losing to G2 in the grand final, they usually do very well at these international tournaments. In the most recent one at Champions, they did make it to top 4. In the previous one they attended, Madrid, they ended up winning the whole thing. And with players like Narrate, Bang, and Zelsis finding their form late in that kickoff tournament, they are looking like a team that is improving quickly. So these are 2 teams that no one should really take lightly. There is a lot of talent on it, but personally, I am going to go with Sentinels for this one. This feels like a game that Sentinels wins. You could say that DRX is the better team, but I do think Sentinels definitely have the better chance here. So moving past the opening Swiss stage matches, it's time to choose the 4 teams that are going to make it through that stage into playoffs. Starting off the top 4, G2 is going to be my first pick. I think they are primed to go on a good run here. They look fantastic. All their players are playing to an incredibly high level right now, and they have a very structured system that works to a T. Second team to put, Team Vitality should be a shoo-in for playoffs. There definitely is going to be at least one team that we see as very good that ends up falling off. It could be either of the teams that I've just picked, but Team Vitality just looks too good to go on a drought. They also look very primed for a deep run and potentially taking home the whole thing. As the third team, I ended up going with Edward Gaming for this one. Now that they're a team that has finally won an international tournament, I think that at each one they're going to attend this year, they're going to be a very dangerous team. And with the relatively easy matchup on paper against Team Liquid, they should start very well, which would mean they only have to win one more, and they should be a pretty favorable team for whatever team they go up against. So which of the remaining teams ends up being that final spot for playoffs? Honestly, you can make an argument for each one of them. When it comes to the Pacific teams, I don't know if I trust either of these teams at the international level right now to be able to go on a run into playoffs, so I'm not going to go with any of them. Team Liquid I don't think is good enough right now to go on that good of a run. Trace, they could do it maybe. Sentinels, maybe not as good as before. There is an argument both pro and negative for each of these teams, but I think I'm going to go with Sentinels for this one. As I said, they usually do very well at internationals. They could definitely make it to top 4. There is only 8 teams, so it's not like that would be like the deepest run ever, but still impressive. So these are my pick'ems locked in, but it's time to talk about the team that I think is going to be the runner-up, so the team that makes it to the grand final but ultimately falls short of that ultimate prize. And that team is going to be Team Vitality. Now, I honestly felt kind of weird picking them to go on this deep of a run because it seems like the safe, easy pick right now. Either Team Vitality or G2, a lot of people rating those two teams very high. They seem like the obvious pick. And Valorant Esports can be very not obvious. A lot of upsets happen, a lot of crazy stuff happens, a lot of teams come out of nowhere. So picking the safe team doesn't always feel correct in my book, but Team Vitality, they just look deadly right now. I definitely think they have the ability to take home the whole thing, but for now, I think they start off their year doing very well at the first international of the year, but ultimately fall just short of the ultimate prize. Because the team that's going to beat them is going to be G2. G2 are still my pick to win the VCT Masters Bangkok tournament. I don't know, man. I think G2 are going to be a very good team at this international tournament, and I just kind of trust an America's team to take home the first tournament of the year. The Americas region always wins at least one trophy, and it's usually the first one of the year, so I do think that trend is going to continue with G2. They look primed for a deep run. They have some players playing at superstar level right now. Trent and Leaf, you can make an argument for top 5 players in the entire world right now, at least top 5 players at this tournament. They have Valen, one of the best, if not the best, IGL in the entire world, and some players that can reach superstar level play in both Jagamo and Jonah P. Like or hate this team, it's hard to find a weakness in them right now. Could they crash out and end up blowing it and losing early on? Absolutely. But you can say that about any team. So I'm just going off of what I feel is going to happen, the teams I think that are going to be the best. G2 winning this tournament, I think, is a very likely outcome. I'm very excited to see what they can do, especially with after what they've done in the Americas region so far. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of my pick'ems? What do you think of my picks for the winners and the runner-up in the top 4? Let me know all that in the comment section down below. Please click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.